What's up everybody, welcome back to Unparalleled Universe, and today I'm going to share with you 5 Toybiz Era Marvel Legends figures that I think could still look good in your collection today. Most of these figures are over 10 years old, so some of the joints and articulation choices are outdated, such as ball joints and articulated fingers, but despite some of those old ways of doing things, I think that all 5 of these figures could look pretty good along with your modern Hasbro Marvel Legends figures. So if you were a Legends fan in the Toy Biz days, you know that it was a really exciting time to be an action figure fan and a Marvel toy fan, because I think the Toy Biz was doing some really cool stuff that not a lot of other people were doing. But that was a long time ago, and nowadays with all the cool action figures that come out, I think it's a little bit easier to look back at the Toy Biz days and realize that they made a lot of horrible figures. And then they made a bunch of figures that are awesome and they still hold a special place in my heart, but they definitely look old, especially when you compare them to more recent versions of the same characters. And then they have a small handful of figures that I think are so well done that they could still fit into your Marvel Legends collections today. And that's what we're going to talk about, and we're going to start off here with Nightcrawler. And Nightcrawler was from the Marvel Legends Series 9 Galactus Build-A-Figure wave. And yeah, just check him out. He looks really smooth. None of the joints stand out as ugly or anything like that. He doesn't look awkward at all. I believe that this is the only time that this body was used, and the main important thing about Nightcrawler is he needs to be able to fit in with the other X-Men characters. And as you can see here in these pictures, I think that he does. He doesn't stand out. I think that he looks just fine with this, with all of these new Hasbro X-Men figures. And what's cool about Nightcrawler is he looks totally unique when you're putting him with your other Hasbro X-Men figures. As you can see here, he doesn't look out of place, but he does look unique. And let's take a look at Nightcrawler here. It's pretty cool because he has articulation that I've barely started seeing people use. Like, you've got the crunch and the swivel, and you also have a swivel at the waist here. So that's pretty interesting. And then you got like a plastic overlay for his chest. It kind of makes it look like he has an extra piece of articulation. In Nightcrawler's case, I don't think the articulated hands really hurt him. I think it works for him. Of course, the ankles look outdated, but everything else I think works pretty good. Then you've got the tail that has the bendy wire. It's pretty good stuff. To me, he doesn't look old at all. So for me, I wouldn't care if Hasbro never tried to do a Nightcrawler figure, because I'm perfectly happy with this one. I feel like it'd be hard for them to top this guy anyways. And next on the list is Weapon X from Series 7. And as you could see here, again, he doesn't look awkward at all. He has good proportions on his body. I'm surprised that they didn't use this body again. I think it's very similar to the Days of Future Past Wolverine, but maybe not quite. This body looks a little bit more muscular, but yeah, he looks really good. So let's take a closer look at what we got going on here with him. Look at him. He just looks awesome. This looks like it could have just came out and it would have still been impressive. As you can see here, he's got like hair all over his chest and stuff like that. You got these cool things that you attach to the hips there. On the back, you got some like electrodes. Got these electrode things all over his body actually. You got a really nice looking head sculpt. You got some veins on his chest and on his shoulders there. Here's a closer look of everything without the equipment on. And you can see that this sculpt is just really nice, not awkward at all. That was a big problem with the Toy Biz, some of the Toy Biz figures, that they looked really awkward, but not Wolverine. Got some dirty hands here. I think that looks awesome. Check that out. Really nice detail. And you got some sculpted toes here at the bottom. I thought there should be some dirt down here, but there isn't. Still looks really cool. Yeah, look at that. There's no reason you can't throw this into your modern display. And then he also comes with this really cool stand. Check that out. Don't really see too many stands coming out with figures these days, so this is very cool. You got these things here that you're able to just attach to his electrodes. I think they're called electrodes, whatever they're called. Anyways, you could attach them there. On the back, you got some green nasty paint. Super cool. I was very excited when I first bought this. Then he comes with 2 heads. That's really great. You've got the Weapon X, like helmeted head, whatever you want to call it. Then you've got the unmasked Wolverine head. I'm not a big fan of this. I really don't like the way his mouth looks, but with the mask on, he looks very cool. And this figure isn't perfect. You got some paint rubbed right in here. And then his knees don't bend as much as they should. They're double jointed knees, but they don't bend as much as they should. But yeah, this figure's cool. I think he could definitely fit into your Marvel Legends display. And the cool thing about him is you don't necessarily need to pose him with other figures. You could just kind of have him there somewhere in your display, posted by himself. And he looks really cool. So next on my list is the Marvel Legends Ant-Man figure, and he's from the Giant Man Build-A-Figure wave. And as you can see here, he just looks nice and smooth. No real big awkward joints. This body is really similar to the Iron Fist body, but with the Iron Fist body, the shoulders were really big and ugly. Here it looks like they fixed it and it looks really, really good. I'm surprised that they didn't use this body more often. I can't think of another time that they did use it, but yeah, he looks very good. And look at him next to a couple of new Marvel Legends Avengers, and I think he looks awesome. He looks right up there with them. And let's take a closer look at this figure here and just check out the sculpt. It's nice and clean. His body isn't really too muscular, but it looks good. As you can see, the shoulders are a good size. You've got like sculpted details here for the gloves. And again, of course, the hands do kind of look outdated, but this is a case where they do look nicer than they have with some other figures. Same thing here with the ankles, and you got some toe articulation that looks kind of funny, but yeah, just overall, I think he's really perfect to fit in with your classic Avengers display. Again, I really don't need Hasbro to make another classic Ant-Man because I think this one's good. And this is one of the few cases where like a removable helmet worked really good. As you can see, this slides right off here. Then you've got the Scott Lang unmasked head. That's really good. That's well done, I think. Then you can just pop this back on, and then you got the classic Ant-Man looking head. And you can pretend that he's Hank Pym or Scott Lang, whatever you want to do. It looks very, very good. So again, like I said before, I don't even think Hasbro needs to make an Ant-Man figure. I'm very happy with this one. I think he fits in very good with the current Avengers figures that Hasbro is doing. So next on the list is the face-off Captain America. And this one is probably going to be the most debatable because he does kind of look awkward in some points, but I think that he still looks overall good enough to fit into your Marvel Legends collection. And the main reason why is I think that they just haven't done a better Captain America yet. They've done all kinds of different versions. They've done one before, they've done a classic one afterwards, they've done a modern one, a couple modern ones, or this one, or that one, a movie one, a Civil War one, Avengers one, whatever. They've done a bunch of them, but they haven't topped the face-off version yet. And just take a look at this. The sculpt is really, really nice. I wish I knew who sculpted it. It was probably one of those old school dudes like John St. John or Paul Harding or one of those guys that used to do a lot of Toybiz stuff. But this one is just amazing. I've always loved this figure ever since I've got it. I know that it's kind of gone up in price too a little bit. It's probably gone down now that there's a lot of other Captain America figures floating around, but for a while this was up there. And just check out the sculpt of the chainmail. And just overall, the sculpt just looks really, really good. You got the classic pirate boots, or some people will consider them classic. You got the pirate gloves. This Captain America reminds me of Captain America during like the new Avengers run, leading up to the Civil War in the comic books. And I think he works perfect for that. He isn't a perfect figure though, as you can see here. I think, in my opinion, his wrist is a little long and makes his hands look a little bit awkward. You got some paint rub right there. They did try to paint over the peg, so that's pretty cool. But it didn't really work too good. And let's see what we got down here. I don't think his feet are perfect either. Kind of look goofy with that articulation. And I know a lot of people have said that he kind of looks hunchback. As you can see there, a little bit he does. Check that out there. Bring his arm down. Yeah, he does look a little hunchback, but like I said, I don't think that they've topped this Captain America yet, and that's the main reason why he still fits into my collection, and he is my go-to Captain America. And they put out two different versions. They put out this version that just has the regular masked head, and then they put an unmasked Steve Rogers version that has like the mask hanging down. And this came with Baron von Strucker, I think, instead of Red Skull. So that's pretty cool. And here's a look at him next to some recent Marvel figures. And again, I think that he looks pretty cool. He just doesn't look as smooth as them, but it's a really good Captain America figure. And in my opinion, I think if Hasbro tried to do this version with the chainmail uniform, I think that they could do a really good one, but they just haven't yet. So I'm sticking with this one and very happy with him. And last but not least is the Marvel Legends Series 8 Man-Thing figure. And just like Weapon X, he's a figure that could kind of just go into his own area in your collection. He doesn't necessarily need to fit in with a bunch of other characters. I guess you could kind of put him with your Marvel Legends Morbius or something, but I think that's the only monster type of character that Hasbro has made so far. And I love this figure a lot. He's like a random character for them to make. I know that Hasbro is doing a lot of random figures these days, but I really don't see them doing him anytime soon. I did hear that he might be a future Build-A-Figure, but I think if they do that, I don't know. I really don't see Hasbro putting in the amount of detail that Toybiz did, just because it's just not the way they do it. They just have a little less detail when it comes to their sculpt. But we'll see. If they make one, that'd be cool, but I just don't think it could top this one. So let's take a closer look at him. You can see all the sculpted details are just crazy. Like, Toybiz went all out on this one. And there's very few reused parts. I think the little piece over his pelvis here came from Sasquatch, and then maybe his lower legs came from Sasquatch. But maybe not even. I just kind of always thought that. I'm not even sure if it's true. But and yeah, with ManThing here, his hands being kind of creepy and articulated work towards the overall creepiness of the figure. So it's very, very cool. And just check out all the sculpted details on him. It's so nice. I really don't... It'd be cool if Hasbro did it. Especially like... I mean, he's not perfect. He's awesome, but he could be a little bit beefier. So maybe that's somewhere that they could improve. But I really don't see them putting in that much detail into the sculpt. But look at his face. I love the way his face looks. Such a perfect representation of the ManThing character. You can see that his head kind of could swivel side to side. Very cool. Here's a closer look at his face. Yeah, just everything about it is perfect. There's really not too much that you can improve on. It looks so cool and creepy and just really, really perfect. I've always really liked this figure. I've kind of always kept him close. I'm a big fan of swamp type of characters, so he's awesome. And then he came with this really cool base. And this base is really great too. That's a cool thing that Toybiz used to do. You don't see that too often these days, but it comes with a really cool detailed base. You've got some pegs right here for him to stand on. And you've got some cool, like, swampy kind of details. You got some trees and some bushes. You got this frog jumping up in the air with some, you know, water that's attaching him to the base at the bottom there. It's really soft plastic, so it bends. Haven't been scared that it'll break or anything like that after all these years, but yeah, this base is really, really cool. But yeah, in my opinion, like I said, I don't think Hasbro could ever top this figure. Maybe if they thought, like, you know, we're gonna top the Toybiz one, then maybe they could. But you know, just naturally how they do things, I don't see it being. If they make one, I don't see it being better than this ManThing figure. But yeah, he's so great. If you ever, I mean, he's perfect. If you want a ManThing figure, this is the one you need, and that's the end of the story. I don't think you'll ever feel disappointed or like you need another one. This one's just pretty much perfect. So that's it. That's 5 Marvel Legends figures that I think will look good in your collection right now, even though they're kind of old. Still great figures, all 5 of them, so check those out. But yeah, that's it. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and keep an eye out. I'll be posting some more videos like this shortly. And thank you very much. Peace.